Recently, I asked myself a question. What does it look like to really show up for myself? And then another question came up. Why do some individuals feel guilty when they start putting themselves first? I really like to be structured, so I wrote some notes down. So if you see me looking over, I'm looking at my notes so I can stay on track. I really had to do some personal reflection of what can I do to show up for me? What can I do to show up better for myself? And it's really writing those goals down and being able to prioritize those goals. And so I'll share a few with you. One one main one. I'm going to talk about the main one. The main one is building consistency and having discipline. Those two go hand in hand for me because when you have consistency, when you are working towards building discipline, it can spill into other aspects of your life. And so I started with being consistent with going to the gym. This week right here is me doing it for a whole 30 days. I don't go every day because, you got to let your body rest, but I don't go every day. So, my personal goal is to go to the gym 4 days a week. I started at the beginning of February and now I've been going every week. My personal goal is to be consistent with going to the gym for 90 days. So I didn't knock 30 days off, got 60 more days to go. Now, when I get to the 90-day mark, I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to keep going, right? Because, like I say, building consistency, having that discipline. And it's been going good though. Not to say I don't have those bad days because I do, like the days I don't feel like getting up, but I remember my why. I remember that this is how I'm going to show up for myself. This is me showing up for myself, right? Is to build that consistency, build that discipline, and it can help me in other areas of my life. So that is how I'm showing up for myself. Another way that I'm showing up for myself is prior prioritizing my health. Anything that I need to do health wise to improve myself, I make sure that I do that. Whether it's going to IV drip therapy, whether it's prioritizing my mental health, making sure that I have those moments where I could just sit still and self reflect, right? Get into my meditative state, making sure I have a clear mind and also setting boundaries and sticking to them. So, those are some ways that I am showing up for myself and having the ability to work on them every day and to consistently do them. Also, I realized this week how a lot of people may struggle with prioritizing the things that they need to do for them. I see it I see it on social media a lot because someone may say something like, "Oh, I wish I can do this, but I'm always at work. I wish I wish I can do that, but I need to do this first." And it's like I understand that we all have to work, right? What they say, you don't work, you don't eat, right? So I understand that part, but it's like, is this a priority for you, right? Meaning, They may want to go to the gym. They may want to have the ability to go on vacation for a couple days. They may want to improve their health. I'll just use those as examples. They may want to do those things, but they don't know how to prioritize it. They don't know how to possibly manage their time. But I feel like if it's something that we really want to do, we will find that time to do it, because guess what? When we want to scroll on TikTok, Instagram, watch YouTube videos or whatever, something that's not pertaining to you showing up for yourself or you wanting to do that thing, we find time for that. Hello. We find time for that though, just being honest. Like, I find myself scrolling sometimes, right? Just scrolling, seeing what's going on or whatever. But I think about it. Sometimes I go back and think about it and say, well, damn, I was scrolling for an hour and a half. I could have did this or I could have done that, something that I needed to do. So it's like, we want to do those things, but we have to make sure that we prioritize those things if they are important. So when we go back to showing up for yourself, that could mean keeping your word to yourself, right? I just talked about that. Basically, it's like, be impeccable with your word. That came up for me today. Not today, this week for me. I remember the 4 agreements. And my four agreements, of course, but one of them is be impeccable with your word. That one, I love that one because it's doing the things that you said that you were going to do for yourself, right? So if you are speaking these things out, is be impeccable with your word. Like, keep your word, not only with yourself, but with others. You know how people say, my word is my bond? Have that bond within yourself when you saying, my word is my bond. I touched it on this one as well. Take care of your health. That's another way that you can show up for yourself. Protecting your time. Again, I just talked about that. Like I said, with the scrolling or whatever, that's not protecting your time, right? We have to protect our time. And sometimes we have to eliminate those distractions. Whatever's distracting us, we have to eliminate that, because that's protecting our time. Say if you are the type of person who like to go out. There's nothing wrong with going out, because I like to go out here and there. I'm a homebody, but I like to go out every now and then. And so if you someone who finds yourself always going out, you got to hang out, you got to be here at this new spot, you got to be there, but there's things that you need to do that's not protecting your time. It really isn't. It's time wasted. You're not managing your time. Also, I wrote down setting boundaries. I just talked about that as well. It's like, we have to set those boundaries and stick to them. Not only that, we have to let individuals know what our boundaries are. And our job is to enforce that. Our job is to make sure that we stick to those boundaries and communicate with someone when they cross those boundaries and let them know the consequences of them not respecting your boundaries. That's a way to show up for yourself, because if you don't have boundaries, people would just run all over you. Taking action on your dreams. That's so important. I made a video about this earlier this week. Is we can hope and wish to fulfill our dreams, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but we have to take action. That's part of showing up for yourself. Anything that you want to do, you have to put action towards it. And when you put an action towards it, that's honoring yourself. That's showing up for yourself. When you show up for yourself, ooh, it feels amazing. I'm gonna say this real quick. for me, I don't know, I feel like I unlocked a new level within me. I feel like I unlocked a new level in my life. You know how you playing a game and you get to the next level and it was a challenging level and you proud of yourself because you made it to the next level? That's how I feel right now. Like I am so filled with joy and just encouragement for myself. Like I give myself those words of encouragement first. I give myself words of affirmation and I speak out what I want to come back to me. But just showing up for yourself is amazing. It's an amazing feeling. And I don't know, I just want everybody to have that feeling of, what it feels like to really show up for yourself, because when you feel that good about showing up for yourself, it's going to be second nature. That's something that you're going to want to do all the time. So, I also want to talk about how showing up for yourself doesn't mean it has to be big dramatic changes at first. Of course, we always want to start off, with those big things, but I always say the small things are big things, if that makes sense. Just with, let me see what can I use as an example? Just waking up, right? If you the type of individual who wake up and you just get up and you start doing things, you don't make your bed up or nothing, your room is a mess. Start with waking up. You don't have to touch your phone at first, right? Just kind of reflect on how you want your day to go, or reflect on the previous day and speak out how you want this day to go. You can get up and make your bed, clean up. That's starting with small, the small things. Even if you don't do that, right? Start to operate on a different frequency. What else did I put down? So now we're going to touch on, like, the main thing is, why do some individuals feel guilty for putting themselves first, or feel guilty for doing something for them? My personal story is years ago, I used to do that a lot. And when I finally realized what I was doing, it didn't make me feel good, because I would do whatever I can for someone, right? I always I love assisting people, like I love helping people. And so sometimes we can do a little too much and we don't even realize it. We always be there for somebody. We always do this and do that for them. We show up at different events. We buying things, for baby showers and birthday gifts and graduation gifts. Is nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, if you're doing all of these things for someone else, are you doing them for yourself as well? Right? I had to think about that, because I've done, you know, different things for people, and I did it for them first before I did it for me. And so when I turned around and tried to do those things for me, I would be hesitant and feel guilty for doing it for myself. Like I'd be spot on for some people. But then when it came to me, it was like, oh, should I buy this? Should I do this? So it's recognizing that pattern, right? Because that's not knowing your self-worth. Basically, you telling yourself, I'm not worth taking a day off of work and taking myself to lunch. I'm not worth of buying this outfit or these pair of shoes that I wanted and I worked hard for. That's what it's telling yourself. So it's like I had to realize that about myself and begin to make those small changes. And now phew, I don't have a problem with putting myself first. It doesn't mean that you are selfish, it doesn't mean that you don't care about somebody else, but it's okay to put you first. It's okay to take care of you first, because how can you take care of someone else if you're not okay? And I understand that, people have families, they, have husbands and wives and kids, and how they always say, my kids come first, or my husband or my wife may come first. That's fine, but you have to make sure you're okay too. So that's another good one. A main good point is prioritize yourself first as well. If you can do this for this person, can you do that for yourself? Make sure you do that for yourself. And it's all about finding the root cause. Like, why do I tend to do this? Is it a fear of disappointing someone? Is it people pleasing? Did you grow up that way? Were you taught to do things like that? Um, yeah, so that's what I want to talk about with that. Um, and so this last thing that I want to talk about is the power of self-questioning. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I asked myself one question and then another question came up after that. So when you begin to use self questioning, it can help you come up with the answers that you need. So, one question is, why do I feel guilty about putting myself first? You can go deeper with that question, right? And then you can just say, who taught me about not prioritizing myself? That goes back to what I just talked about. It's like, ask yourself these questions, and then you can begin to get down to the root cause of it. Also, you can ask yourself, what small steps can I take today? Right? What small steps can I take today in order for me to begin to show up for myself? What does showing up for myself in this season look like? Some more ways that you can begin to show up for yourself is keeping small promises to yourself, protecting your time and energy. I already went over this. So I didn't want to make this video long, but that's just what I wanted to come and share with you guys is show up for yourself, right? Whatever that looks like for you, show up for yourself. It really feels good when you have the ability to do that, because you are prioritizing yourself. And I don't want to I don't want to toot my own horn, but I have to toot it a little bit, because by me showing up for myself, right, and creating the content that shows that I'm showing up for myself, it could possibly inspire somebody else to show up for themselves. Not saying that I do everything right. I don't want to do everything right. It's just all about showing yourself, and it could help the next individual. So yeah, I'm just um excited about what this week holds, and I'm going to continue to um show up for myself every day. I'm going to continue to say, I'm going to continue to tell myself that I have to show up for myself. So, in closing, if you ever felt guilty about putting yourself first and prioritizing yourself, just know that you're not alone. Just work at it every day. I've been there. And I might find some other moments where I'm there again, but I have the tools and the knowledge to recognize and be aware when I'm not putting myself first and when I'm not showing up for myself. But sometimes growth requires us to pause and look within ourselves and ask ourselves those deeper questions. What does showing up for yourself look like? Sit on that for a minute. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if this video resonated with you. And remember, it's your world. Go out there and create. Peace.